Okay, so welcome back to SwitchCorner. It's Thursday, meaning one thing, 10 deals under $10 or of course your local currency, and we're covering the eShops across the US, the UK, the EU and AU. We've got some stunning deals for you this week though. In fact, if you actually picked up all of these games in today's video, it would still be cheaper than a single AAA release. That's kind of crazy if you ask me. With that though, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get this started. So as always, just check that lower left corner to see if it's available in your region. Pretty much all of this week's games, though, I gotta say, they're available everywhere. So let's start it off big, but the end is nigh. This one, it's a masterpiece experience that if you don't own, you absolutely should. 50% off now, it deserves a spot in your collection. This one, it's described as a spiritual sequel to the awesome Super Meat Boy, and you'll feel that nearly immediately. Expect a finely tuned, punishing platformer where it's not necessarily about taking down enemies as such, but navigating a world that's just full of things that want to kill you, and your skill is really to just get out of the way. This one though, it's got a unique visual style, a crazy little story with this weird sense of humour, but it's fantastic stuff. 12 chapters totaling over 600 levels, collectibles, mini-games, built-in achievements. The average completionist time on this one is like 40 hours, and even just a single playthrough, I'd say at least 10. This is absolute value for money and a must-buy. Next up then, with HUNTDOWN proving to be popular within the Switch community. Once you're done there, maybe go and check out Broforce. That's got a huge 75% off. While it's got a few different mechanics in here to stand out, at its core it's very much a run and gun experience. Here though, I'd say expect more vertical levels as well as destructible environments. This one is just over the top fun, it's fast paced, it's of course action packed, but what really makes it unique, it's the huge cast of characters that you're gonna like rotate between as you progress. Have you ever wondered what Rambo, Robocop, Bruce Lee and Braveheart could do in a fight if they teamed up? Yeah, nor me, but this game got me thinking about it with a ton of references just like this. That's very much the starting point for the insane amount of characters you're gonna meet. It's got a fun little story. Don't come here for that though, come for the brainless entertainment. Also, there's even 4-player local co-op or competitive modes facing off to really round out the package. Alright, let's slow things down a bit here now. Crystal Crisis. This one, it's a colour tile matching combat game, shall we say, coming from Nicalis. Basically, they've rounded up some of their more popular IPs, so think like characters from Binding of Isaac, Cave Story, Astro Boy, and now you can basically play out fantasy face-offs. Match tiles though, and these then lead to attacks against each other. It's seriously entertaining stuff, and if you're a sucker for titles like Tetris, there's a good chance you're going to enjoy this one too. Throw into the mix then single player and multiplayer modes, and yeah, fans of Nicalis, this is a good one to check out. Even if you're not, honestly, this is just a solid little puzzler, especially at the current 50% off. So next up then, some old school side-scrolling beat-em-up action for you. This one, it's called Coffee Crisis. There's also Mother Russia Bleeds on sale at the moment too, but I think this is a stronger game. Okay, you ready for me to sound crazy now? As I tell you the plot to this one, aliens have come to Earth and they're not leaving until they've stolen our most prized commodities, our metal music, the best coffee we have, and then our Wi-Fi connections. Take on the role of what is essentially a Starbucks barista though, you know, green apron and all, and take these invading forces down. It's insane, and just go in expecting to be fighting waves of aliens, possessed humans, even grannies. Yes, you heard me right, grannies. It's fun stuff, the visuals are great in their like throwback pixel art style, there's some fun boss moments, and then of course a metal soundtrack that Slain and Falferis would be very much proud of. At 80% off right now, it even costs less than a cup of coffee, so I'd say maybe skip that Starbucks today and invest in this instead. So next up then, it was in last week's video from the Japanese eShop, but it's now made its way to the UK store, so I want to quickly mention it again. NBA 2K20 with a huge 95% off. It's a great experience on the Switch. I picked it up last week personally, and while the install size is absolutely huge, it's like 40 gig, you can really see why when you turn this thing on. The graphical power this one is showing is kind of insane, honestly. You'll know if you like this one though, so maybe take a look if it's your thing. This price is probably the best I've ever seen on a AAA release. Okay, so now my pickup of the week. I do this every single week. It's where I'm spending my money. Can't recommend the game because I haven't actually played this one, but maybe some of you will want to take a risk with me and join me for the ride. This week, the game, it's Yumi Nikki Dream Diary. You may not guess it from the name, but from what I understand, this is a really weird little like horror experience that, while granted rough around the edges, is very much worth consideration for fans of the genre. It's a reimagining of a game from 2004, and from what I can tell, it's basically a puzzle platformer with lots of things that can kill you. It looks very similar in a way to Little Nightmares. Graphically, I'll admit it's definitely not pretty, I mean look at it, but you know what, as long as the gameplay is solid, I'm pretty happy with the price. At 50% off, I'm gonna take the risk. If you've played it though, let me know if I've made a good or bad decision with this pickup. So next up then, a classic, Flashback with 95% off. At this price, I really do recommend everyone checks it out. As ports go, I honestly think this may be, for the classics, up there as one of the very best, and this game just had such a huge impact on the gaming industry as a whole. Here though, the year is 2142. You'll be taking on the role of scientist Conrad B. Hart. Awakening on Titan, a colonized moon of the planet Saturn, you've been kidnapped. Escape these alien forces though, and then find a way back to Earth. Containing both the original game and a modern variation, expect to find cleaned up graphics, remastered sounds and music, a rewind function, and even some tutorials. Something I've got to say I would have very much appreciated back in the day. It's going to feel a little bit slower in comparison to more modern platformers, but it's an absolute gem of a game. If you grew up with this one too, I can't urge you enough but to just spend this insane price. Okay, so now SLAYAWAY Camp Butcher's Cut. Puzzle game, but this is for sure unique, and it's coming with 80% off. The idea, it's simple. It's a tile-based puzzler where you must move Skullface, our starring mass murderer, around these locations and just kill everyone in sight. Surprisingly deep stuff and kind of challenging as well, but tons of references to the horror movies of the 80s, a great soundtrack, and overall it's just a whole lot of fun. Rarely do puzzle games come with so much blood and gore, even if it's then all encapsulated in like this Minecraft style. Really enjoyed this one. It was one of the earliest reviews I actually did on the channel as well, but 300 levels, 60 different killers, 90 kill scenes, even touchscreen controls. There's a lot to like. Then as well, for on top of all of this, some top-notch voice acting. This one's a bit of a hidden gem in my opinion. So next up then, we featured the fantastic What Remains of Edith Finch just last week. This week, if you finished up that masterpiece, I'd strongly consider adding Gone Home to your library next. Well, not my top pick of the week, that's coming next. This is still a game that can absolutely stand next to Edith Finch and say it's in the top 1% of its respective genre. Yes, that means what we get here though is a walking simulator of sorts, but basically you'll find you're arriving home after a year abroad. You expect to see your family, but they're missing. Now it's down to you to explore this huge house and just figure out what happened. No combat, no puzzles, nothing like that. This is purely about pushing that narrative forward. But what a story it is, coming from those behind the BioShock series. It's an incredible achievement. I'm saying no more, no spoilers here. But yes, even the included 90-minute commentary is worth your time. Buy this immediately if you do like this style. Okay, so my pick of the week then, Pac-Man Championship Edition 2+. Pretty sure everyone loves Pac-Man, and what a great entry this is. First off, Pac-Man's never looked so good with the neon visuals, but this is simply a twist on the classic formula of, moving around a board as quickly as possible and collecting every pellet and power-up in sight. Where it differs though, you don't really need to avoid the ghosts so much. You can actually bump into them. Just if you bump into them too many times, then they will come after you. This version of Pac-Man, it's very much about chasing a high score while restricted to a timer. It no doubt mixes up the formula, but it absolutely works. So Pac-Man purists, probably not for you honestly, but everyone else, this is a great use of the formula with all the bells and whistles you'd expect from a game now in 2020. Love this one. I love chasing high scores, and this absolutely satisfies though in that area. It even has a pretty kick-ass 2-player co-op mode that's exclusive to this Switch version. With a decent 70% off though, it makes it easily my pick of the week. So that's it, 10 more deals under $10, and yeah, it's been a good week so far for deals. As always, you can check out Saturday's video. All of those deals are still active. We've got a new one coming up, of course, this Saturday as well. But yeah, check the pinned comment below for the 5 reviews we've put out so far this week. Hit subscribe if you're new here and you love the Switch as much as we all do. Join this quickly growing community. And yeah, I appreciate you all. I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.